You know that feeling? When the travel brochures are spread out, maybe dates are circled on the calendar, and you just get that buzz, that excitement.
Oh, yeah.
That's really where the adventure starts, isn't it? Even before you've packed anything.
Totally. And speaking of getting ready for adventure,
Yeah,
today we're diving into something super useful.
yeah.
Essential Spanish vocabulary for travel.
Right. We're basing this on a really great video we found.
It's from the YouTube channel Jaime Lara Español. And what's so good about it, I think, is how practical it is.
It really lays out the Spanish you'll actually use.
Exactly, step by step for, all the different parts of a trip, whether you're thinking about, say, a beach holiday or maybe something more rural.
Or like a cultural city break kind of thing.
Yeah, all those scenarios.
So think of this as your linguistic toolkit to feel a bit more comfortable, more connected on your next trip to a Spanish-speaking place.
And the video, it's cleverly structured, isn't it?
Yeah.
It breaks down the vocab into stages.
Yeah, like before you go, while you're actually there, and even for wrapping things up.
So where do we kick off?
Let's start at the very beginning, dreaming up that perfect destino.
Destino.
Yeah.
The destination. It's funny because it can mean destiny too, but for travel, it's just the place you're aiming for.
Simple as that.
And the video points out two main ways you might plan this. You can organizar el viaje por tu cuenta,
Right. Do it all yourself. DIY travel.
or you could acudir a una agencia de viaje. Go to a travel agency for a viaje organizado.
An organized tour package. Makes sense. So you're either the independent type or you like things laid out.
And depending on that destino, the words you'll need, they'll change quite a bit.
Okay, like what?
Well, if it's a viaje de sol y playa,
Yeah.
sun and beach trip that's calling your name,
It sounds good already.
right? You're probably thinking about descansar, just resting, kicking back.
And desconectar de la rutina? Oh, definitely need that sometime. Disconnecting from the daily grind.
Absolutely. And the video mentions things like, obviously, disfrutar de la playa, enjoying the beach, but also
What else?
the very Spanish experience of salir de tapas,
Ah, tapas. Going out for those little plates? Love that.
or salir de navegar, maybe go sailing, and even ir de terraceo.
Ir de terracejo. What's that exactly?
It's basically hopping from one outdoor terrace cafe or bar to another, having drinks, socializing. It's a big part of the lifestyle.
Okay, I can picture that. Sounds fantastic. Now, what about other types of trips?
Well, for a different vibe, there's turismo rural tourism.
So, getting away from the city.
Exactly. Often in little pueblos villages, maybe up in the montaña, the mountains, away from the ruido de las grandes ciudades.
Right, the noise of the big cities. A bit of peace and quiet.
And the vocabulary reflect that. You might want to aislarse del ruido, literally. Isolate yourself from the noise.
Escape the noise, yeah.
Or maybe conocer la flora y la fauna. Get to know the local plants and animals.
Nice. What about activities?
Things like hacer senderismo, going hiking.
Okay.
Respirar air puro, breathing fresh air, which you definitely get. And sometimes, depending on where and when, maybe even if where, skiing.
Skiing, wow. So, quite varied. It really speaks to a slower pace, doesn't it?
It does, a chance to reconnect.
And then there's the third type mentioned.
Yes, viajes culturales, cultural trips.
Okay, so this is more city-based, maybe history.
Often, yeah. Your vocabulary here might include visitar catedrales y museos,
Visiting cathedrals and museums. Standard tourist stuff, but essential.
or ver estos y antigüedades, seeing ruins, antiquities, and just generally aprender sobre la herencia cultural.
Learning about the cultural heritage makes sense.
These trips usually involve visitar ciudades, exploring cities, ver monumentos, seeing the big landmarks, and maybe even hacer rutas gastronómicas, food tours.
Ooh, now you're talking. Gastronomic routes, food, and culture often go hand in hand.
They really do. It's a delicious way to learn about a place. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What kind of trip do you actually want?
It does. Okay, so you've picked your destino, you know the type of trip. What's next? The practical stuff, I guess.
Yep. Planning and booking. You need your fecha de salida
Departure date.
and your fecha de vuelta, or sometimes fecha de llegada, the return or arrival dates.
Pretty basic, but crucial.
Then finding alojamiento apropiado, suitable accommodation.
And the video gives a good list here, right?
Oh, yeah, a whole range. You've got your hoteles de 2, 3, 4, or 5 estrellas,
The star-rated hotels, familiar territory.
but also things like hostels, which are kind of like guest houses or simpler hotels.
Okay.
Campings, obviously campgrounds. Pensiones, often smaller family-run places. Un albergue, which is like a hostel.
Right.
Un apartamento, renting an apartment. And casas rurales.
Rural houses, like country B&Bs or cottages.
Yeah, often with a lot of local charm, especially for that turismo rural.
Loads of choices. But whatever you pick, you need to make la reserva del alojamiento.
The booking, yeah. Or just booking. They use the English word sometimes, too.
And the video had a really important tip here, didn't it?
It did. Super valuable. Try to make sure your booking lets you cancelar o anular la reserva.
Cancel the booking. Why is that so important?
Because of imprevistos. Unforeseen events. Things pop up, plans change.
Ah, right. So having that flexibility is key. Good tip. Avoids headaches later.
Totally. Gives you peace of mind. Okay, so destination sorted, accommodation booked. Now, how are you actually getting to the place?
¿Cómo vas a ir a ese lugar?
Exactly. And ¿qué medio de transporte vas a utilizar? What transport are you going to use?
Okay, for longer trips, that probably means the airport. El aeropuerto.
And getting to the airport. The video covers options, like tu propio coche, your own car.
Or you could alquilar or reservar un taxi, hire or book a taxi.
Public transport, too. You might go to la estación de autobuses
The bus station.
to buy a ticket and then coger el autobús, catch the bus.
And didn't the video mention something about coger?
Ah, yeah, good catch. In Spain, you coger the bus, but in Latin America, it's more common to say tomar.
Little regional differences. Good to know.
Definitely. Or you could go to la estación de tren, the train station.
To sacar un billete de tren.
Yeah.
Get a train ticket. Or just buy it online, probably easier.
Yeah. But, and this is important, always keep your ticket de compra o resguardo.
Your receipt or the ticket itself. Why?
Because of el revisor, the ticket inspector. They might check, and if you don't have it.
You could get a multa, a fine.
Exactly. Not the souvenir you want.
Definitely not. Okay, so managed to get to the airport. Now what?
Right. You arrive at La Terminal, the
Yeah.
terminal. Assuming you're flying, you've probably already booked your vuelo de ida y vuelta.
Round trip flight ticket with an aerolínea or compañía aérea, an airline.
Then usually you need to facturar, check in your main luggage.
Especially if it's over the limit, like 15, 20 kilos or whatever the airline says. They also call it checking, right?
Yep. Borrowing the English word again. After that, you head towards la puerta de embarque.
The boarding gate. But wait, not so fast.
Ah, yes. First, el control de seguridad. Security control.
The fun part. Where el personal de seguridad del aeropuerto, the security staff, check everything.
You put your equipaje, your bags, on the cinta transportadora
Conveyor belt.
to go through el scanner, the scanner, and you walk through the arco de seguridad.
Security arch, yeah. Always a bit of a juggle, taking stuff out of pockets.
It is. Once you're through, you look for your gate on the screen's los information panels, or paneles de información,
Find your gate number and wait for el avión, the plane.
and wait for the call to acceder al mismo, to board it.
Okay, boarding time. And it's the embarcar. Before you board, what do you need?
You got to show your ID, DNI o pasaporte.
Hmm.
ID card or passport.
And la tarjeta de embarque. Boarding pass.
Which, as the video notes, could be the paper version en formato físico en papel or digital on your phone.
Right, and formato digital. Most common now, probably.
Probably. Then actually getting onto the plane, it varies.
How so?
Sometimes you walk up high across the tarmacs. Sometimes there's an autobus lanzadera.
A shuttle bus.
Yeah, takes you to the escaleros, the stairs up to the plane. Or, the easiest way.
The jet bridge.
Exactly. That túnel conectado directamente a la puerta del avión.
Nice. Okay, you're finally inside el interior de la aeronave, the aircraft interior.
Stow your bags en los compartimentos superiores.
Overhead bins.
Find your seat, and then you wait for todo el pasaje, all the passengers, to get on.
And for el avión despegue, for the plane to take off. Or as the video said, text off.
Yeah, little joke there. Take off.
The video also mentioned different types of flights, right?
A vuelo directo, a direct flight. Straight there.
Or the alternative.
A vuelo con escala. A flight with a layover. Or even con varias escalas. Multiple layovers.
Ah, okay. So the plane aterrizará en otro aeropuerto, lands in another airport.
Yep. And then you might have to repeat some of the gate-finding waiting process again.
Got it. Phew. Quite a journey just to get airborne. Now, let's rewind a bit. Before the airport, packing.
Ah, yes. Hacer el equipaje. To pack the luggage. Or hacer la maleta. Pack the suitcase.
Some people also say empacar. Right.
You do. So what absolutely has to go in the suitcase or bag?
Well, first things first. La documentación. Your documents.
Absolutely vital. El DNI or el pasaporte, ID or passport.
La tarjeta de embarque, if you have a paper one. Then obviously ropa, clothes.
Can't forget those. And productos de higiene, hygiene products.
Like what? Give us the list.
Okay, el cepillo de dientes, toothbrush, la pasta de dientes, toothpaste, la colonia, cologne or perfume, el peine,
Deodorant.
yep, el desodorante,
El shampoo.
el shampoo,
Sí.
el gel de baño,
Yeah.
shower gel,
And you usually put all that in a...
and a nécessaire, a toiletry bag. Keeps it all together.
Smart. Anything else the video mentioned is useful?
Yeah, and mochila, a backpack, always handy. And, well, pretty essential these days. El teléfono móvil.
Or just mobile, your phone. Definitely can't leave that behind.
No kidding.
Huh?
Okay, let's jump forward. You've flown, you've landed at your destination airport. Now what?
Find transport to tu alojamiento, your accommodation. Taxi, bus, train, whatever you plan.
Right, and once you get to the hotel or the hostel or el albergue,
You head for la recepción, the reception desk.
to do what?
To hacer el check-in. Check-in. Funny how check-in gets used there, too.
It is interesting, isn't it? Lots of English loanwords in travel. Okay, checked in. Now,
Settle into la habitación, your room, drop the bags, maybe freshen up.
and then,
Then the real fun starts. Maybe look for una oficina de turismo, a tourist office.
good idea. Get maps, tips, find out what's on.
And after that, the final step.
The best step, as Jaime Lara says in the video, simplemente sales a disfrutar de tu viaje.
You simply go out and enjoy your trip.
That's it. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Wow. That video really covers a lot of ground. So much practical Spanish for travelers.
It really does. From planning to packing to arriving and exploring, it's incredibly useful. And honestly, even knowing just a few of these phrases can make such a difference.
Ah.
Well, it just smooths things out, makes interactions easier, you feel more confident, less like a totally clueless tourist, you know? And it helps you connect a bit more with the place and the people.
That makes sense.
And that's why we really recommend checking out the Jaime Lara Español YouTube channel. Jaime's content is fantastic for learning practical Spanish.
Yeah, definitely give it a look. Subscribe if you like it. Maybe leave a comment.
For sure. And share his videos, too. If you know anyone else learning Spanish or planning a trip, he puts a lot of effort into making things clear and useful.
It really does open things up, doesn't it? Learning even a little bit of the language makes for a richer, more authentic experience.
Totally. Imagine being able to ask for directions confidently or order food without just pointing or even just understand a bit more of what's going on around you.
Yeah, it adds a whole new layer to travel.
So this deep dives, drawing on that great video from Jaime Lara Español, hopefully gives you a really solid starting point with travel Spanish.
A foundation, yeah.
But definitely explore his channel for more. There's loads more detail and other useful topics there. You might be surprised how quickly you pick up enough to really boost your next trip.
So here's something to think about, maybe. Picture that place you've always wanted to go. You know the one. Now just imagine, how much more could you get out of that trip if you could communicate, even just a little, in the local language? What conversations might you have? What hidden spots might you find?
It really changes the possibilities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic reason to start learning, I think.